I didn't like my hair. And then it's because I'm dark skinned. What did I do? So I got to school and I think I was bullied in just 2, just 2. Okay. Before you praise what I did one thing. I got to the middle of the road and I stopped and everyone was shouting, "He lost my hair!" This guy in my class just walked up to me and said, "I know, why are you so ugly?" That's it. Going home and I just thought, I just die. I looked at myself and I thought I was ugly for a very long time. Imagine me just not going past and close them now. Stop waiting, let's you. And I'm like, it was sad. So I was actually sad. So I was just writing from my sadness. But people were thinking I was like just a skilled writer and you have to just put emotions together. But I was writing from what I was feeling. I was very sad. I was depressed. My eyes are small, but they're cute. Actually, my nose is not big, but it's really cute. Nobody is actually inherently good.
In all of that, when did you discover coach?
They said they will put me on aquatic, you know, this is what and they will beat the air out of me. Spoken word poetry. I never knew there was something called poetry. That was how I discovered spoken word poetry.
That internet. We just started like, we just stop this thing. Like, was that anybody? I felt
I'm
discouraged.
going to go to law school. That would make me a lawyer. But do I still want to be a lawyer? No. My head feels like that. I don't feel as heavy as I used to feel. I have a vision that I would enter into any room, anywhere in the world, and everything has contribution. So everything that is created has a reason why it was created. What do you know the reason you created?
Hello, Glow Tribe. Welcome to Glowing Things. I'm Shini. I'm Tenny. And we are your hosts. So it's a new day, it's a new week, and also a new episode. We're still discussing self-love and self-discovery. This is hot. And in the last episode, we promised a very special guest. And in the studio today, we have our special guest. She's a phenomenal poet. Our works go across various platforms. Honestly, I call her global poet. She is also a youth leader and exceptional public speaker. Her name? Aina Ayomide is her name.
Oh my, thank
Welcome.
you.
We're so happy to have you in the studio.
I'm so excited to be here. Good afternoon.
So tell us, what's going through your mind right now? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay. And I'm like, oh my God, you prepare me so much. Thank you. Yes, I feel okay. I feel good. And I think that's what's going through my mind, honestly.
Thank you for feeling good about it. So when we reached out to you and we told you that the topic was going to be self-love and self-discovery, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
I think I just thought, the self-love, self, this person. Perhaps because I intentionally. So one of the things on my bio, if you read my bio, the first thing you'd see is Christian, and you'd see spoken word poet, all of those things.
Yeah.
So one of the things I really try to do, especially in the world where we have self-love, self-this, self-that, do you, the world will adjust, all of those things, I like to put it forward first that I'm a Christian. So I'm not anything self. I'm first God.
Okay.
Yes, and and I think that's the first thing that came to myself. Like, okay, wait, I'm just going to come and do self-independence, self-this, self-that. But I think when I took another look at the topic, it made so much sense in the sense that I think it's just because the fact that we're now in a world where everything that is good has been taken to the extreme end.
Yeah.
So it's easy to be it's easy for your judgment to be clouded about something that should naturally be good.
Yeah.
Like you wanting to have self-love, like you wanting to have self-confidence. But now it's like you just want to be careful, so you don't sound like you're
confident.
Exactly. So I think that is it. But on the second thought, that is one topic I think everyone should be talking about. If we don't have healthy conversations about it, then the unhealthy conversations around it would keep going viral. So I think that is why this is necessary, and that is one of the reasons I honor the invitation. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Alright, the last episode we basically discussed our own stories of how we've had to deal with, low self-esteem, physically, career-wise, and all of that. So just basically share our stories. Well,
Let me see.
oh no! Even if I say thing. But yeah,
I think your dentition is beautiful.
Thank you. I said the same thing. I'm not going to smile for the rest of the
Okay. Oh.
Thank you very much. Well, we basically discussed all of that. And yeah, we want to ask, when in your life did you not want to accept how you look? Because honestly, almost every teenager has been there.
Yeah.
Like he just look into the mirror, like why is this why is it looking like this? And it's not. So yeah, just tell us how it happened for you.
I think for me it was just growing up. So I recently posted my sisters on like last week. My sisters took
I
very
saw
nice
them.
pictures. It's alright. It is really nice pictures of themselves, and I just posted both of them. And when I posted it, I knew what was coming next. So I posted another video of them, and I captioned it. Things I don't like to read. The sisters are finer than you. The sisters are fair. I don't read your sisters. Don't do it. Don't send it to my DM. They are not compliments. And I think it started from there. Looking back, I'm a last born of five. And that means I have older siblings that are like 10 years older, 13 years older as well.
Wow.
So, and besides that, I also have older siblings that are very beautiful. And if I say so myself,
Shout out to
but the thing about it now is that my older siblings are mostly fair, especially my sisters. My three sisters are all very fair in complexion, light skin. So people would come to our house and they'd say, "Oh, show money, lele." Like, am I
oh no.
and I'm like, because I'm dark skinned. What did I do? And my brother is the only dark skinned person in the house besides me. So I just didn't feel like I belonged because he was a guy and I was a female, and I really just wanted to be like my sisters. So I think it all started from there. So from there, I didn't like my skin color, and then sometimes when my siblings also want to tease me, they don't say, "Oh, do jump jump." There was also that I didn't like that. I just didn't like those things, and I now went to school. I mean, those were still jokes, all jokes, except the person that used to come to our house and say Shama Lily. But all jokes until I got to
You
school,
could not
and
send the person back to Mario.
well, they would just laugh at it. They didn't think it was hurting me. I think it's now that you can look at things and be careful of what to say to children. Before, our parents didn't think they matter so and say, mommy, no, that's all. Do you get it now? So I got to school and I think I was bullied in JS3, JS2, SS1. You know all the seniors that want to be senior by force. They want to call them senior this, senior that. There was even a particular lady that slapped me so much because she had
I just saw it. In the last video, this girl received slap at least 3 times.
It
In
was
the
a
story
very
she was
serious
saying.
stuff. And those were the days when I just caved in. I used to be a very confident. I mean, now I'm confident. Now I'm the way I used to be when nobody did anything.
Yeah.
But as at that time, when I was much younger, I was extremely confident. I spoke good English. They used to call me Oyinbo. And everything just really made a lot of sense until I got to school and people started talking, people started passing compliments, backhanded compliments. People started to, I got bullied. I started to just cave in and reduce the way I talked. I would now be the quiet person in class, and then my classmates also thought they could ride me on that. So I had one time the most beautiful girl in my class just walked up to me one day and said, "I know, why are you so ugly?" That day, that day, that day, I went back home. No, before I even got back home, I just said, I think my grades were not really also doing well at the time. And I was somebody that always, even if any other thing in my life was not going right, my grades don't suffer.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay. But at that time, my grades were already like dropping because I was getting bullied by seniors. And then for my classmates, like the most beautiful girl in my class said that it really, my self-esteem took a very huge blow. So as I was going home that day, my school was in front of an express. I was going home and I just thought, what if I just die? I was going to just go stand in front of a trailer. In fact, I saw a trailer coming and I was crossing. I got to the middle of the road and I stopped and everybody was shouting, Hiroshima, and the trailer stopped and they dragged me out of the road and I was like, no, I cannot die like this. I cannot die like this. But something as little and as fickle as why are you so ugly? That's not even a commonsensical question. And something like that triggered me so much and I was going to attempt suicide. And after that time, I got home and I asked my mom, am I ugly? And my mom said, who told you you're ugly? I'm told you to turn. So I'd become like the tagline my mom used to praise me because I'm the Omotojuju in the house. So she was like, no, who told you you're ugly? And that was it. And she didn't really ask it. I maybe I wanted people to ask me, so I will not tell them what happened. So I just went to look at the mirror and I thought, okay, maybe my lips are big, maybe my eyes are small, maybe my nose is small, my ears are small. I just started to.
I don't see anything.
Oh my god!
And I was complaining of having long ears.
If you're a teenager watching this, you're bothering about things that don't matter. And I was just complaining. I was looking at myself and I was like, okay, I think the only thing I can work on now is my grades. I have control over that.
Yeah.
So I just went back and did well with my grades. But since then, it took me a very long time because of that thing. I didn't even give boys ears in secondary school because you can't be like that. Yeah, there were prospects. I mean, I first went to only girls school, and that was the school where I had this girl, and after that time too, okay, I now had friends in SS2. I was bullied in junior secondary school time and all. Then SS1, this girl, most beautiful girl in my class said this. Then SS2, I began to have friends. I think SS1 third term ish. I began to have friends. There was this girl that just stood up for me one day, Wura. I cannot forget.
Shout out to
Shout out to
Wura.
Wura. I think somebody did something in class, and somebody was going to like, oh, excuse me. And somebody was going to like, oh, is I know? And she was like, why is it always I know? Why do you always shout I know like that? And for the first time, somebody stood up for me. I was like, oh my god. Wait, before you praise Wura, Wura did one thing. So after that time, Wura became my friend. Then I had Wura, I had Jemima, Rosemary. The three of us became friends. We used to go together. It felt good to have friends because I didn't have friends at the time. Then one day we were going home. Wura just looked at me. I was in front. Wura looked at me and I was like, and you know, you have yam Lego. Oh no! Honestly, Wura, why? But anyway, just laughed at that thing, and I laughed at it too because it was funny. But when I got home, it was not exactly that.
It wasn't. Why did you think that now bomb up? You see,
Which is like why? No, no, I don't be like that. Wura, I mean, no hard feelings, honestly. But yeah, Wura was just that person. And when I thought about that thing, I started to feel like, okay, I have young legs. What can I be doing? Let me start wearing trousers. I started to wear long trousers. I became a tomboy. I mean, I had already started my tomboy journey. Because if you're in only girl school, you're either a very girly girl or a tomboy or a wayward girl or the academia person, like just somebody like the nerd, always wears glasses. So you just have to be one of those categories. So I was like the nerd and then the tomboy. Yeah, so I just ventured into my tomboy very well, and I continued. And I stopped wearing skirts. Yeah, I ventured into. Besides my uniform, I didn't wear dresses, and yeah, and I think that was how the whole insecurity started. So I eventually changed school. I went to another secondary school in SS2. It was a mixed school. Now this time around, there were boys around. There were boys in my class, so it's
weird.
yes, it's weird. And imagine me just randomly passing around, someone telling me that oh, that boy said he liked you, and I'm like, yeah. So just those days, looking back now, just because of the insecurities, I looked at myself and I was like, how somebody like me like this is my arm leg? How somebody like me like this is my big lips or whatever? And I just grew out of it after secondary school. I just began to just dress any way I wanted. I still have some pictures of me on Ed Warmer, not son because I was a young boy. But yeah, I look back. One of the things that really helped me to overcome that part is that I just one day looked at myself. I think when we were getting into 100 level ish, or before then, in fact, I started to look at myself and I realized, and I just started to look at myself and tell myself, oh, actually, my eyes are small, but they are cute. Actually, my nose is not big, but it's really cute. It fits my face. It fits my face. Okay, my ears are small. Yes, but they're good at cat ears. So this one fits me perfectly. I was like, okay, my ears are big. But no one call. If I have small nose and small ears and small eyes, everything cannot be small. Something has to be big. So yeah. So I looked at the mirror a lot, like very often. In fact, this got me mirror girl essentially days because I was just in front of the mirror and I started talking to myself. So I looked at myself. I made sure to look at myself very well and judge myself and evaluate myself by myself. And then I realized that nobody is actually inherently ugly. You may look at somebody and say this is not fine, but if that person actually wears something that fits them, if that person does something that suits them, if that person wears a color that you've not seen them wear as often, you will not realize that. And the guy is not that bad though. Yes.
Yeah.
And this girl is so beautiful. Have you ever watched the movies and you just realize that there's a transformation? That this
Yeah.
person that used to look very, very tattered and all of those things, they dress for this person and this person is looking so good. So everybody just needs to find what fits them. That if you've ever been called ugly, if you've ever been told that your leg is big, what's the name? What's the name of this woman that acted Suits? Ooh.
We don't watch it.
You don't watch it? I watch K-drama, but I have watched Viola Davis. Viola Davis is one of like the most renowned actors in the world, and Viola Davis has all the yam leg in the world. Viola Davis has bow leg. Viola Davis has muscles, like as a woman, and it's not necessarily because she's very athletic. She's just someone that is smart, study,
Has that build.
sporty. I too have it. I mean, I stopped working out. I used to work out. So and all of these things, I looked at Viola Davis and I was like, despite all of these things, Viola Davis has a successful career, she has a successful marriage. She's confident. She has left that space. However you are, take it as you are. I tell people that there are two circles in life: your circle of control and your circle of concern. Your nose is small. What can you do about it? You want to do surgery? because of what people say. You're not gonna start smelling. You're not gonna be able to smell with your nose. Did you get that? But yeah, I looked at it and I was like, I mean, there are things that you cannot change. You cannot change the way your leg looks. Maybe you can work out around it. You cannot change the way your body is. Maybe you can work whatever you can do to it, that's fine. But the things in your circle of control are the things that you can do about the things in your circle of concern. The things in your circle of concern are the things that affect you. But what anybody would say, do not allow what somebody now say now be the mirror with which you now see yourself. I looked at myself and I thought I was ugly for a very long time because of what that girl said. Recently, I even came across her Instagram page, and honestly, she's beautiful, yes. But if we put our pictures side by side now, honestly, I find about that girl, and this is not no, this is not even like a comparison. This is to say that there is no need to even compare beauty. Who said that being dark skinned is the standard for beauty? Who said if you are not fair, you are not this? Who said because I don't look like my sisters? If anybody says that thing to me again, I would give them a piece of my mind. So I just really came up. I came to the point where I realized that I'm not ugly. Nobody is ugly. And if we just really grow up with healthy self-esteem too, we realize that I think it is people who are hurting that hurt others. It's not impossible. She might have just maybe felt insecure at some point, or just looked at me like that. So I know look fine today. Let me spoil that day, or whatever it was. Maybe she was just being childish. She was just being ignorant, and I don't even blame her or anything. But for any reason, there's the people who are hurting that other or hurt others. So if there is anything that I would say is that everybody should just look out for the younger persons around them. They should make sure that they all have healthy self-esteem, because the things I put it to me in secondary school, if anybody does it to my children, they would know that there are people at the PTA meeting, because I will not take it lightly. And I just really think that everybody should just train their children better and give them healthy self-esteem in every way possible. Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk.
That was really, really amazing. Like that was like that just gave me a whole reset, like my brain. I love me.
I love me.
You have it. I love yourself.
I love the way my legs look. I love whether or not I have bow legs. I love the way my legs look. I love the way my stomach. The things you are complaining about are the things that people are looking to get. You're thinking you're too small, and somebody that is big is saying, "God, I just want to have a small stature. I just want to be free." You're thinking you're not busting, and the person that is busting is having chest pain. They cannot even sleep at night. They need a pillow to put on. Oh God! Thank you.
All right. So in all of that, when did you discover poetry?
Oh, poetry. Ah, I don't know how to say when I discovered poetry, because I think I found out poetry like since I was very much younger. Nursery 2, I read the screen premiere. Cake and baking cake. I see baking cake. Oh God! And I go up. I was beating. So I could read everything. I was such a smart kid. I could read everything. I did maths well, but screen premiere somehow I found it difficult to read. Though I could even read comprehension passages or whatever it is we were reading those times. But I found it so hard to read screen premiere. So I stayed for extra lesson. And Mr. Jai was my class teacher. Mr. Jai would put me on apoti, this and he would beat the hell out of me. I would have to read that thing over and over and over again till I mastered it. So I think that time I knew what poetry was. But as I grew, I realized that poetry is actually beautiful. I sort of had a kind of love-hate relationship with poetry, especially because of the beating that I received. But as I grew, I got taught literature and English in secondary school. I don't think we really did poetry in primary school, but in secondary school we now did literature and English. I went to art class. I realized, okay, actually I always wanted to be a lawyer by all means, so I didn't even have to choose between science, management, or art. I just went to art, and then I realized, oh, they were now evaluating these poems, piano and drums, the Proud King. So all of these things, I read them. You see that textbook, that big textbook, example or example? I finished it. I read it. I loved the book. I just used to read. I read the Proud King in one day. Proud King, that poem, that long, lengthy poem. Yes, I read it in one day. So the story now, I just sat down with it and I read it. It felt so good to read it.
My favorite poem then was Black Woman. I loved everything. I love, and then when we had to like break it down and evaluate it in class, they're talking about Tom reaching this, so the class is always very fun. But yeah, I love that poem.
I do not like literature in English because my teacher, they think changed my teacher at the time, so it was kind of always boring in class.
Yeah, literature in English can be boring if you don't have a good teacher. I think any course can be boring if you don't have a good teacher. So and from all of those things, I got exposed to poetry, and I had developed love for writing as well. I grew up with siblings that care so much about me, My big sister, whenever she goes out, always buys something from me when she's coming back. And the only thing she mostly buys, or the thing she mostly buys, is books. So from like since I learned to read, I started to read. She would buy me books, but she could just come 3 story books. She has got it for me. So I'd read those books, and I think that there's no way you would consume something so much and you feel the urge to recreate
Yeah.
it. So each time I read, I felt the urge to write another story.
Yeah.
So I would write a story in all this. I would tear pages of my book.
Everybody that knows
I would write story. I'll put broom. Do you know? Do you know what I'm
That
talking
one is
about?
another creativity. I don't know.
You know, yeah, you take pages of your book, you make your own notes from pages of book. Yeah, you destroy a book to make a book.
Just
Yeah.
to say education.
No. It's not the same. So yeah, I do those things and write the stories and read it to my sister in the kitchen. And she said, "Oh, that's so good. I think she changed characters. She changed characters." That. So I think that was how I found writing generally. And I had a book where I always wrote things. In fact, I had a school at the time. I still have the school where I wrote a lot of writings. I won't call them poems, but now I think they are prosaic poems. So yeah, that was how I discovered writing and poetry generally. But spoken words poetry, I never knew there was something called spoken words poetry. I just thought we just write like page poetry. Only for me to graduate secondary school, and I think at the time I was learning makeup and I was training before I while I was processing admission into Langston. Then I had Facebook account, yes, Facebook account where I used to share my writings, and I would just attach a picture of me, or I'll share something motivational. No, and I was already having followers, really good. I was paying attention, and I found this place, Poetry Nigeria Initiative. That we know now.
Yeah.
Yes, Pin was also on Facebook at the time. So I found Pin community on Facebook, and then I joined, and then I realized that they used to do poem of the day.
Okay.
So I submitted one of my poems, and it was anything as poem of the day. And I was like, oh wow, man. And it was a very sad poem. So I was so I became skilled in writing sad writings. Yes, so it was a sad poem. So it was a poem about rape or something. So sad. And people were like, oh my god, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Yeah, so that was with poetry. But on that same Pin page, there was not one day they were doing one spoken words competition. And then I just saw a video of this girl doing poetry. I remember what she was wearing. I remember where she shot the video, but I don't really remember her face.
Okay.
But yeah, and I was like, this is supposed to be poetry, right? But she's saying it, she's not reading it, she's acting it out, and it's making so much sense. And I thought I could do this thing. Excuse me. I was using an Infinix or so at the time. I was using an Android phone, so I set up my camera. I started reading the poems that I had written, crammed them. I started to do them in front of camera, but I could not post them anywhere. It was not giving. So I just thought, okay, no matter. Then I just saw one day that Poetry Nigeria was doing, I think they were doing 20 years or something. So they had this national competition and they called for spoken word poets. So I said I was going to go. But it was not physical. They asked us to submit videos.
Yeah.
So I recorded a spoken word video. I would not forget the theme was Nigeria. And they asked us to end with a line, welcome to Nigeria. No, they asked us to write on In My Nation.
Okay.
So I posted the video not long ago. I reposted the video again recently. So In My Nation, and I did the piece, and that was the first piece I posted on Instagram because they asked us to post on Instagram. And that was when I opened an Instagram page in 2020, 2021, thereabouts. And that was when I opened an Instagram page. And from there, I watched somebody perform live. So I attended Listen. After that time, I attended Listen.
Yeah.
Listen before I even gained admission. And I volunteered, and then I saw Victory on stage performing poetry live. And I was like, I saw they do this thing in live too. I'm doing this thing. I've been rehearsing with all my poems. So I just thought, okay, this makes so much sense. And I had known TT before. So I told TT I used to do poetry. And so I was like, oh, I think you should meet Victory. And then I met Victory, told him I do poetry, and we just talked, and that was it. I said I was going to do more videos. So I did a recap of everything that happened at Listen, all the things that the speaker said, and I put them and I created it into a spoken word piece, and I delivered it in a video and I posted it. And I see the site page, I was like, I just posted thank last official, thank everybody. It was this man, one of the speakers commented, yes, on the piece. It was really nice, and I was like, okay, I think we're making it headway. So I kept posting spoken words video. That was how I discovered spoken words poetry. That was how I thought. The more I did it, the more I realized I could still do it. The more I realized I could get better at it. And spoken word poetry for me is not something that I had to learn or be taught, as it were. It's something that I learned by observation. I would just watch somebody do a piece and I would think, look, I love how deep those lines are. Let me see how I can create my own. I would see the way they reacted when they were speaking. I thought, okay, this thing communicated the emotions better. Let me see how to I learned a lot by observation. If I just look at how you do something, I typically can do it. And I think because of that, I would like to say that I can thrive in any sector because I just have to watch you do it. And I think I would get an angle of it. That was how I discovered spoken word poetry.
We'll give you your flowers. We'll give you your flowers.
Alright, so I have a question here.
Okay.
Was there at any point during the anyway, I don't know, something that happened, like, was there at any point that you felt like really more? Was there at any point that you just tired? I'm like, oh, let me just stop this thing. Like, was there at any point like felt discouraged? Yeah.
Yes. I'm actually not someone to give up. Oh, I'm not someone to give up on anything like that. Like it takes whatever it takes, whatever happens that makes me say, I'm not doing this thing again. I think if it happens to most people, they would have given up a long time ago. So I'm typically the very resilient person that thinks there'll be a way, there'll be a way. I'll find it. It's not happen. I just have this strong faith that something is going to happen, even when I don't see evidences of it. And as to discovering purpose, I feel like purpose is not something that I've had to I've had to strive. No, strive is not the word. I've had to fight to discover. I think it's just something that came naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I loved reading, and then I started writing. I loved writing, and then I started speaking. I was I mean, not that life has always been a bed of roses for me. Don't get me wrong. It's not even that I've actually had it easy, but somehow I have naturally had it easy. Let me put it that way. Not my environment, but somehow I just have talents. I have things that, and
Shall find a
I just
way.
find a way. And then I have a mindset that says I can. Just very unshakable mindset that says I can. Though I've failed a lot of times at many things, and I've lost a lot of times. I mean, I remember losing 4 times to get one thing. So
I know that story.
yeah. So I've been there. I've done a lot of things, but somehow I'm just not the person who thinks
Give up.
give up. Yes. Instead, I think what other way? I think okay, this one was not cool. This way should go. So maybe I would not consider that part giving up. I would consider it finding
Way around.
another way around it. So yeah, that's it for me. And yeah, besides that, I think if anything, there have just been times when I thought, okay, this thing is not working. What should I do? Say for example, so I wanted to be a lawyer. I studied law, and I recently graduated. So of course, you can call me a law graduate, and I'm going to go to law school. That would make me a lawyer. But do I still want to be a lawyer? No.
Wow.
Yeah. I, I I just looked at everything, and one of the things that discouraged me is my journey of this journey of my study of law in Lasso. It felt too draining. I sort of really lost interest in
Law.
the profession as it were. So, and when I sat with myself, I thought, okay, what should I do? And I also wanted to graduate in first class. I think that if I had maybe graduated in first class, I would I would have said I want to be the next son
Yeah.
now. But yeah, I maybe because I didn't get what I wanted, and it shook me so much. So I thought instead of becoming a lawyer, we can become another thing. Let's become a lecturer.
Oh shit.
I've not thought of it as a loss. I've not thought of it as things are bad for me. I don't throw pity party. I don't think anything is bad for me. When things are not going right, I either end it and go and do another thing, find another way around it, or I don't just give up.
And
That's
I
the thing.
think no, I know you'd be a great lecturer because you would definitely be a great lecturer.
Thank you.
And you mentioned before that you used to write sad poems.
Yeah.
You stopped.
Well,
Why did you stop? You've evolved.
not really. I didn't stop. Just that I was in one phase at the time. I was sad. So I was actually sad. So I was just writing from my sadness. But people were thinking I was like just a skilled writer and I knew how to just put emotions together. But I was writing from what I was feeling. I was very sad. I was depressed. And there was just a lot of I was just I was just really in that space at that time. So I was producing from what I was feeling. I think now I am I'm joyful. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm very happy. My head feels lighter. I don't feel as heavy as I used to feel. And I realized that sad sad work sad work would beget more sadness. So now, if I write any sad thing, it would mostly be fictional or from past experiences. It will not be from present day occurring. And another thing is, the reason I'm not even producing a lot of sad stuffs right now is because I feel like the world needs more happy stuffs. People are very sad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sad songs.
Almost every day.
Yeah, I used to listen to sad songs. Do you know Sasha Sloan?
No, but I know Billy
Oh, all of them. They were my guys. I used to listen to I would listen to the sad songs to the point that I would be sad. Like I was sad before.
Exactly.
Now, when I'm sad. So I just thought myself that I didn't want to produce that kind of thing. And I'm currently in that season where that's not what I'm 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 looking to produce right now. I'm looking to produce things that are inspirational, that are motivational. Of course, honest art. If I feel a certain type of way, I'd write about it. If I feel grief, I'd write about it. If I feel sad, I mean, sad is an emotion. It's not supposed to be a state of mind for me anymore. It's supposed to just be an emotion. So you can be sad about something like that. I'd write about it.
So before we call it an episode, I know Ayomide. How did you discover that name?
I think the very first time I listened to you was when I went for podcast. I think I was a fresh at that time. I went for podcast. Freshers week now. And
Okay,
then came to speak. And I'm like, I thought I know actually this lady. I want to know
How did you discover that?
Well, so two things. It's in John. Two things. The first is I didn't like my name for personal reasons, and then for the fact that it's common. For the fact that Ayomide is common, I didn't like it, and then for personal reasons, honestly. But I just didn't like my name, and I just sat with God one day and thought. But I also know that I really want my name to go global. I have a vision that I would enter into any room, anywhere in the world, and I wouldn't have to introduce myself. Like I don't want to come and say, "Hi, my name is Aina Ayomide." No. I want to enter and they'll say, "Oh, you are the I desire that so much. I desire it so much. I desire it so much. I don't want to. I want to make sure that my name is that known. Besides that, I also looked at it and I thought I was not handed over a name that would open doors. Apart from the name of Jesus, there's no other name in my life that is opening doors right now. So I mean, you would Alinko Dangote's children would just enter and say, "Oh, I am Alinko Shalina," and then like, "Oh, Alinko." Seriously. Or Mark Zuckerberg would just come and then, "Oh, Zuckerberg." I just think that I want to have that kind of name that would be a legacy that I can say, "Oh, tell them you're I know, just tell them you're from I know," and it would click. Yes, and if I want to have that kind of name, I thought, what is the way to begin? Especially because I didn't like the name. So I sat with God, and God said, you can't make people like a name that you don't like. And if you want to make people like the name, you have to make it interesting enough for them to like. So I just sat with God about it. And then the second reason I decided to pronounce my name intentionally is because I realized that a good public speaker is one who can pronounce the word of every language the way it should be pronounced.
Yeah.
So if my name is Aino, I shouldn't be saying Aina Ayomide because it is Aino Ayomide. So it should be that. So I just sat down with God and said, okay, what if it is Aino Ayomide? And it clicked. And I felt like, okay, I think I found my answer. And I said it on the first stage and it made sense. I kept saying it on stages and it made sense. And it became something that everybody's hearing me. And I'm like, okay, I've gotten them to like this name.
Yes.
Now the name is about to go global.
By God's grace.
Amen.
I have a question here. What advice can you give to those people that are like navigate for progression to find their way, their path?
Okay. There's this thing I say when I'm preaching. I say, if everything that is created has a reason why it was created, what do you know the reason you were created? So that's like the question, and that is the question of purpose. Why was I created? What am I meant to do? And I eventually end the conversation around that thing, saying that it is the person who creates a thing that has the manual that can tell you how that thing can be used. So if I create a washing machine right now,
Everybody knows how to use it.
you need a manual to use it. Even if you know how to operate a typical washing machine, even that typical washing machine, you knew how to operate it because there was a manual for it. There's just a way to go about this thing. And if you have a manual, why stress yourself? I bought a microphone recently, and the microphone, I didn't know how to use the microphone. I plugged it because I've seen people plug microphones, so my so not working. I just checked the value. I just saw one paper. I said, God, thank you. And I brought out the paper. I read the manual and I followed it step by step. And the microphone started working. You see, you need to know your manual. I believe that the manual is the Bible. I believe that the God who created you, I believe that God created us, number one. Number two, I believe that it is the creator that can determine how the creation should operate. And number three, I believe that the Bible is the manual that has been given to you. So you should follow it line upon line, precept upon precept. Ask, you cannot do purpose outside the God, the creator of the thing. A washing machine cannot fulfill its use outside what the person that created you to make made it for. So you can always go back to the source. The word Abba, when we say God is Abba, we're saying God is the source. So you can always go back to the source and ask questions. God, how do I go about this thing? I do not think that purpose is a thing that we just find and we just go. I mean, which is purpose is like a very big what's the word now? A very big
Universe on its own.
yes, and we're not trying to I don't want to make it even more complex for you. I need you to understand that there is something called general purpose and there is specific purpose, which means general purpose. Why did God create all of mankind? I believe that God created all of mankind because of what the scripture says, and scripture says that we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. I also understand that the Bible also makes us understand that we're created for God's good pleasure, which means that I was created to worship God. I was created to do God's pleasure. That's general purpose. But specific purpose, why did God create I know who has this fingerprint? Which fingerprint is not existent in all the 8 billion plus people in the world? So why did God create I know? If God, then there's a reason God created I know. So what should I not do? I know should keep asking God, God, why did you create me? And I also believe that there is seasonal purpose, which means that part time there is something that you should be doing. As at every point in your life, there is something that you should be doing. You may see me in the next 20 years, and I may not be doing spoken word poetry, not because I made up my mind not to do it, but maybe because as at that time, God is just not really directing me in that line, and I would not do it. Maybe that time I would be singing, and you would be shocked that I'm starting a new career in music. But this is to say that you cannot do this thing called purpose outside God. And if you do not know how to go about it, just ask God. There is answers everywhere. If you draw close to God, He will draw close to you. The scripture says that. So I believe that if you're able to just take this advice that I've just given you, this advice is based on belief. So you need to believe it too. If you believe it to work for you, then take it. It has worked for me. And if it is working for me and my life is turning out well this way, then maybe it's something you probably want to give a try. So yes, that is the advice I'd give to anybody that is trying to discover purpose. Don't do purpose outside God, else you will not be fulfilling purpose. And yes, I also believe that a fulfilled life is possible.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Aina Ayomide.
Thank you
It
too.
was such a pleasure having you with us. And thank you. Yes, I'm sure you enjoyed all the conversations. You've heard things you didn't hear from anywhere else. Who would have known all of this about I don't know Ayomide? So yeah, we'll come to the end of this episode. We'll see you in our next episode. Through the pain together.